Coming up on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Number one, we have the latest injury update surrounding QB1 rookie Drake Maye. There is a slight possibility he could be suiting up and ready to go for Week 9 against the Titans. On the back half of the show, I'm going to give you guys my 3 keys to victory for the Patriots to stay in the win column, take down the struggling Tennessee Titans. They only have 1 win on the season. We have 2. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and if you guys want us to go live on a Sunday, I'm all for it. But I need about 25 new subscribers on this show to let me know that you guys are all for it. We've had a huge turnout over the last couple of weeks, a lot of fun. So if you guys want to see the Patriots in a game they should win, come hang out with me on Sunday. We will be live at noon, and I want you guys to be there, so hit that sub button for me. Ian Rapoport stating what Jerod Mayo did give an update on Drake Maye earlier today during his press conference, saying that QB Drake Maye, who is currently in the NFL concussion protocol because of the game against the Jets, will be a limited participant in practice today. That means he at least has a chance to play on Sunday. What is a limited participant? Basically, he can only practice for 30 minutes or less, and Jerod Mayo and the Patriots offensive staff is going to be able to choose what kind of activities he will be able to do. It's not going to be anything physical. There will be no contact, but he will be out there doing football-specific related activity. And here's what Jerod Mayo had to say about whether or not Drake Maye can play on Sunday. I do have confidence that if the league says he's ready to play, he'll be able to go out there and operate. In saying that, I feel comfortable putting Jacoby in there as he is professional and always stays ready, as you could see from last game. However that plays out, well, we're going to have to wait and see. I do agree. I think Jacoby Brissett came in and got the job done. Obviously, the first win since Week 1. But I want to break down the concussion protocol steps that Drake Maye now has to go through. Symptom-limited activity, it kind of happens immediately once he gets in concussion protocol. They just want to limit anything that he's doing. Then he goes into aerobic exercise. If you guys ever done anything aerobic, it's very light, very minimal. Stage 3, football-specific exercise. Stage 4 is non-contact training drill. So want to put his shells back on, want to put his helmet back on and run him through those routes. And then step 5 is full-body football activity/clearance. And that is when he's good to go. The good news is that Drake Maye is already in phase 3. He got a concussion on Sunday. Right now it's Wednesday, and he's already fully in football-related exercises, which he will undergo here today. But you do have to keep in mind that you don't want to rush him back too early. You do not want to injure anything else with the head that's serious. But he also can't show any signs of recurring or reoccurring concussion symptoms while he's out there on the field. And they're going to go through mental drills, I'm sure, with him as well to make sure that his cognitive is still there. But once again, you know, I love football, I love winning, but I don't want to put a guy out there that's going to put his life in danger. And if he does go out there and play with a concussion, that's not going to be good moving forward for the future of your franchise. So as long as he's not showing symptoms, and obviously they have professionals, they're going to make sure that he is good to go before they say he's good to go. Keep in mind, this is not up to the Patriots if he can play on Sunday. It's up to the NFL that has to clear him. And if he can't go on Sunday, then this is what your quarterback room is going to look like. You're going to have QB1 and Jacoby Brissett and QB2 and Joe Milton. And I just want to reiterate, because we were live last Sunday and I had a heaping amount of people commenting, put Joe Milton in. Milton for the last 8 weeks has been your emergency quarterback, as in you cannot play Joe Milton unless Jacoby Brissett, who was quarterback 2, got hurt. But Brissett did a really good job, 130 yards through the air, completed majority of his passes, scored 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions while he was in the ballgame. I think Brissett came in there. It took him a little while, took a couple of 3-and-outs on his drives, but nonetheless, I would definitely put Brissett as my QB1 and then Joe Milton as my QB2. But I know there's a lot of guys out there that think differently. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. Who do you want to play on Sunday if Drake Maye can't? Type JB for Brissett. Type JM for Milton. I'm JB all the way. I think Brissett is your veteran. He's already played 5 weeks this NFL season. I think Milton's got a lot to still work on, including using his 60-yard deep balls and not using the exact same power to throw a 10-yard slant. So that's why I don't want to use Joe Milton, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Up next, I'm going to give you guys my Patriots versus Titans preview and also a little update on Rhamondre Stevenson that I want you guys to know about. So before I hop into that, let me tell you real quick about PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. If you guys aren't playing PrizePicks right now, let me tell you a few reasons why I am. I love the fact that you can test out your skills every single game day amongst several different sports, and you can now win 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. It's super easy. It's actually probably the easiest part of my day is playing. You just pick more or less. That's literally it on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. And you can run your game all season long, especially if you live in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas, where you can legally play PrizePicks today. There's a lot of sports going on right now. Obviously, we're in crossover season in full effect. So my PrizePicks for tonight, I am still riding on Peyton Pritchard. Obviously, I'm the host of Celtics Today here by Chat Sports, so I got to ride with PP, who just dropped a 30-piece on the Bucks. I have him having more than 11 points. I got Freddie Freeman, who has hit a home run in every single World Series game. I have him having more than 1.5 total bases. And then I do have Juan Soto doing the exact same thing. So if you guys want to go ahead and make your PrizePicks, it's super easy. All you have to do is download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. My first key to victory here is to let Rhamondre Stevenson cook. It's been a while since this has been a key to victory for me, because number one, Drake Maye has been your leading rusher when he's played since week 6. Stevenson's kind of fallen off the wagon here, and he's not going to have the easiest time, but here's why I think you need to use the run game, more so your passing game going up against the Titans. Number one, they have the number 1 overall defense in the NFL, as they're averaging 265.4 yards of total offense, and of course their pass defense is stellar. They're only allowing 151.6 yards through the air. If Drake Maye does play, I'm not worried about that number. If Jacoby Brissett does play, that's where I'm worried about. Jacoby Brissett didn't throw for more than over 180 yards when he started in 5 straight games. So I highly doubt a top passing defense is going to let Jacoby Brissett soar through the air. So I'm looking to Rhamondre Stevenson because their weak point happens to be their run defense. And that still says a lot when they're the 12th best in the NFL. But I think Rhamondre Stevenson needs to have a good breakout game here. I think he's been getting there. But the first 2 weeks, over 100 rushing yards, 89 rushing yards, and then it just kind of fell off from there. And then as you see in week 6, he dealt with an injury. 43 yards, 89 yards against the Miami Dolphins, 18 yards in London against the Jaguars, and then more recently, 48 yards, but he did find the end zone twice, which I will make up for that. But then I found this recent report here that Stevenson, unfortunately, has been dealing with a little bit of grief. Stevenson did lose one of his closest friends a few weeks ago, so he has been dealing with that. And last week, reports show that he did not practice on Wednesday ahead of the Jets game because he did actually fly back out to Vegas to celebrate his friend's life. So here's what Rhamondre Stevenson had to say about his friend and, how it's been dealing with that as he lost his late friend Brandon Harley. It's been heavy on my mind, heavy on my heart. We played together my first season of football in Vegas, actually. And ever since then, we've been locked in together. We were very close. All the summers I used to spend at his house, I wouldn't even go home. I just wear his clothes, things like that. If I wasn't at his house, then he was at my house. We've all dealt with grief in time, and it's hard for professional athletes to be able to put that out of their mind and come out on the field and be able to perform in front of millions of fans. So we do hope that Rhamondre Stevenson is feeling better, but it would make sense if this had a little bit of mental adjustments to his game on the ground the last couple of weeks. Because remember how I said those first couple of weeks, I traded for him in my fantasy league because the guy was dominating on the ground. And we do hope that he can get back to that. But first things first, we do hope that his head and his heart is okay. So give Stevenson some love. You don't know what Stevenson does in his free time. He might like YouTube. He might go to Patriots Today by Chat Sports. And I just want to see the number 38 flooded in the comments here for our running back. Number 2, let's talk about Christian Gonzalez, because I don't think this cornerback is getting enough attention in the media like he should be. He'll be paired up with Calvin Ridley, as he has been for the last 8 weeks of a top receiver. He's always the man that's going to line up in front of him. And with Calvin Ridley, this is your top guy. There really isn't anybody else. Yeah, you can find a couple of different targets, but I'm mainly looking at Calvin Ridley, as he's accounted for 47.7% of the Titans' passing yards this year. This is Mason Rudolph's number 1 guy, which means our number 1 guy, Gonzo, is going to give him hell because he has locked up all of the great receivers so far in the NFL, and I think he has genuinely been one of the lone bright spots on defense the last couple of weeks. As you can see, the most yards he's allowed came from Tyreek Hill, and I'll give him credit, man. Tyreek Hill is one of the fastest guys in the league. 3 receptions, 55 yards, and then he had a pass breakup. Stephon Diggs locked his ass up. Garrett Wilson, when he was on Garrett Wilson, he locked him up. 5 receptions for 25 yards, but then he also did double duty here, would switch over to Devontae Adams, 0 catches, 0 yards, and a pass breakup on the newly acquired wide receiver for the New York Jets. He worked overtime in that ballgame, and guess what? The Patriots got the win. And then, of course, Brandon Ayuk, 1 reception for 10 yards. And now this one's going to be a little personal, right? The Patriots reportedly offered a shit ton of money for Calvin Ridley to come to the Patriots in free agency, and he signed with the Titans. And now the Titans are actually worse than the Patriots in terms of records, so I bet he is not enjoying it right now. So now Christian Gonzalez can lock him up going up against the Patriots, a team that he could have been playing for right now and could be playing with a rookie quarterback like Drake Maye. So I think Gonzo's going to do his job, needs to do his job, and I think we can ultimately get the win. Number 3, the run defense has not been my favorite when it's come to the Patriots. I found myself just pulling my hair out every time we face a good running back. Breece Hall, not to mention, put up still almost 100 yards on the Patriots despite them getting the win. And now you're going up against a pretty good running back for the Tennessee Titans in Tony Pollard. Is he in his prime? No, but he's still a good running back. And I do think that if you are able to stuff the trenches, if you are able to still get Keon White, who was very good last week, and still have him fill the gaps, I do think if you take away the run gap, and I'm just talking about under 70 yards for Tony Pollard, you're not going to be able to lock him up entirely. The Patriots defense just hasn't been strong enough. But if you can keep him to have less yards than what Breece Hall did, I think the run game will be settled. And then if you put Gonzalez on Ridley, it's going to force Mason Rudolph to be extremely uncomfortable. And Rudolph just showed against the Lions that he got blown out in last week's game when he threw 2 interceptions, that he doesn't handle pressure very well. So if you mix in some of the blitz, I think you can see a lot of 3-and-outs tomorrow and hopefully secure the win because you're taking away his run game, you're taking away his top receiver, and his confidence is at an all-time low after getting shit on by the Detroit Lions. Not to mention, there is a theory out there that anytime a team plays the Lions, the next week they lose. So we also had that on our side, if you guys believe in that. My last question here for you is predict your score for the matchup, Patriots versus Titans. I'm going to give you my score prediction on Sunday morning when you join me on live. We will be live at noon Eastern time, so if you guys want to come join us, all you have to do is one thing for me and hit that sub button. Join over 17,000 loyal subscribers on Patriots Today by Chat Sports.